Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Two Cents Podcast.
Hello.
Hi. Oh my god, you guys had three voices, so you know we have a special guest. But first of all, it's Mariam and my beautiful co-host Rufaru. And we have a special guest today. Nonhle, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Nonhle. I'm South African, but I live in Germany.
We love it.
God, I swear, if you hadn't done that, I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm so
I
glad
know,
you just
you were
did
gonna
it.
say cut the cameras. Cut the
Cut
cameras.
the camera, dead ass. Because guys, this is not
Yeah.
even scripted. Like it just came. I'm
It's
so
not.
happy.
It's just what it says here. Nonhle, welcome to the podcast. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So excited to be honest. We were talking
Yeah.
about this earlier, and I had to wear my best shirt in my wardrobe just to just to look nice enough to
For
host
the-
Nonhle
for
on the
Nonhle.
podcast today. Honestly, because you're so stunning.
Thank you.
Right?
I think we've said it already. We love your content. I followed you for a while on TikTok, and it was also amazing having you on the live show. So I hope you're half as excited as we are to have you.
I'm actually probably more excited than you are. I just love.
so
Yeah, because I was so
nice.
excited to be at the live recording in December of the podcast, and then when you invited me back for a one-on-one, I was just like so excited to be with my sisters. So thank you so much for
So
having
nice.
me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
We
much.
love it.
Yeah, we love it. Oh my God, what did you do this weekend? I kind of like to know, what's been going on, or maybe what's been going on this year for you, if maybe not just the weekend.
So this
thought she
year,
was for
I've
a launch.
actually.
See, I'm just so excited. I'm just so sorry.
So we're probably gonna talk about this a little bit more later on, right? I don't want to give it all away because I know that you might want to, talk about it in detail. So
Yeah.
I am a singer, right? I'm a singer. That's what my main job is. And usually January and February are not so busy for us as singers. I do have some shows, but not as much as I would in the summer. So for January and February, I've been focusing more on my content, on creating content, and
That's amazing.
yeah, so that's what I've been doing a lot of.
Do you do everything yourself when you're creating content?
Now I do everything myself. I have all of the creative
Wow.
control, and I just
Wow.
yeah. You can't see that.
Farah,
I'm
look at us,
working.
man.
No, we
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
amazing. Anyways, I would like us to go right into the episode because I'm sure someone listening is like, girl, we didn't come here to hear about your weekend. But Rufaro, I'll just ask anyways. How was your weekend? How have you been? since the last
Boring,
time we
obviously. Like my life
chatted? Yeah,
is
just work.
Listen, nothing interesting, just nothing. So this
We need
is why
we need to move you out
Nonhle.
of NRV. I think that's
No.
the
That
to move
NRV is
you
not
out
the
of-
problem. Trust me, NRV is not the problem. Because I feel like I'm the kind of person you could take me out of NRV and put me in a city like Berlin, and I would still lead a boring life unless
no.
I make the active choice
Why?
to start
Why?
leading. Because it's like I do have phases where I really like my solitude. I feel like I'm so sensitive to people sometimes, to people's emotions, energies, and stuff. And this is why I can't even be around crowds for too long. This is why I'm not even a clubbing kind of person. Like I do go to the club, but when I really miss it, and then it's like a craving, and then I go to the club, I feed the craving, and then I'm back in my mellow solitude. So because of that,
Yeah.
it's an active choice I have to make to be out and about doing stuff. But it's not like an active thing where it's not very often that I have these phases where I want to be out and about. I do love my solitude. So NRV is not the problem. I'm the problem.
Can I actually say something?
Yeah.
Can I actually, the reason why I did not even tell you what I was doing in the weekend, and I was just like, this is what I've been doing from January and February, because you know what I was doing on the weekend? My laundry.
Oh,
Girl.
gosh.
Doing my laundry.
Nah.
That's what I was doing. I was doing my laundry, and then I was like, you know what? Because it's almost spring. It's actually quite warm in Hamburg today.
Oh.
And I started decluttering my closet, just getting everything. That's what I did this weekend. So I
Girl,
understand
okay.
you, if like, because I always say that I'm an extroverted introvert or an introverted extrovert. So I love people. I really, really love people, but I love my solitude.
You know what I'm saying?
I
You
love it
get
so
me.
Yeah.
much. Yes,
You
I get
get
you.
me.
I
I'm
do.
so opposite of from you guys. And I think mine is so unassuming because I actually get my energy from people. So
Really?
Oh,
I can't be, it's not like I can't be by myself. I can, but I can't do it for too long. Like after a little while, I'm like, what's happening. Although it's again, it's unassuming because it's not like I'm going out every weekend and clubbing. Again, my life doesn't even allow me to do that now. But I just like being by myself for too long. I don't know. I just can't. I
but
Wow.
yeah
but I also have to say that for me, because my job, right, as a singer,
yeah.
it requires me to be around
I
people.
see.
So I'm
Yeah, there's also
consistently
that. Yeah.
around people. So even when I'm in a relationship, when I'm dating,
Yeah.
the well, right now I am in a relationship, and he doesn't like. I'm just like, I want to be at home the whole time, because when otherwise I'm always traveling. I'm like, if I'm at influencer events, it's just around people, and you have to be on the whole time. Last week
Yeah.
I was at the Berlinale in Berlin. It's around people, so my job
Yeah.
requires me. So that's why I also think I really, really, really love being at home. When I get there,
Yeah.
I just want to sit at home and do nothing.
I hear
Okay,
you.
that's
I have no
amazing.
excuse. Unlike you, I have no excuse. I just I wish I had such a sophisticated excuse. No, I just like my solitude. I like my company as well. I have so many hobbies. So it's not like when I'm home, I'm just sluggish and just being
Yeah.
unproductive. I also have so many hobbies. So, nah. And unlike you, Mariam, I do not draw energy from people. If anything, people drain me. So, yeah, it's the Mariams of the world that be draining
It's
the Rufaras of the world. And it's the Mariams of the world
Yes.
that be getting energy from the Rufaras of the world. It balances.
no,
It's
because I
okay.
think that's
It's
the
a
thing.
good
By
thing.
myself, I'm so low energy and low effort. So I kind of need
Wow.
people to like pull me out of like I guess that, you know. So yeah, it's a weird thing. I feel like it's changed obviously over the years. There was a time in my life like I would just be out all the time hopping about. I think
Yeah.
obviously I've grown a bit and I'm a bit more mellow, but I still see that if I'm, if you see me in maybe in a setting with like my family, like I'm such a different person than if you see me like with my friends or if you see me just in a group of doing, I don't know. I get my energy from, I go off of the energy of different people. So if everybody's chill, I'll probably be chill. But then if everybody's high energy, I'll probably also be high energy. It's, yeah, I guess it's a weird
Interesting.
thing. I don't know.
As the introvert and extrovert, I understand both of you completely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally understand both sides, because
Yeah.
I have both those sides in me as well.
Yeah.
We love it.
Okay,
I
I was
guess
gonna start somewhere
balance.
else, but you brought up your relationship. So I think before we get into that, I'll just ask, what's the dating scene like in Hamburg?
I should have
In
actually never said that, because I
in
never
one
talk about my
sentence.
personal
Nah, I
life.
was gonna
I
bring
should
it
have
up because
never.
I saw your Valentine's post, so I was gonna be like, huh, girl,
Oh
you
my
Yeah,
god,
were
I didn't see the
giving.
Valentine's post.
Girl,
I
where you
missed
be
this
at?
one.
it
Nah,
was
I
she was
missed
cute,
looking
this
right?
one.
gorgeous,
It was
as
cute, right?
always.
Yeah.
It was
It
so
was
Yeah.
very
cute.
cute.
I should have
Okay.
never brought that
But
up.
but what's okay, we don't have to go into like your own personal, but what's like dating like in Hamburg?
Yeah,
Because
like
I have
generally.
thoughts. Yeah, like
It's,
generally.
to be honest with you, I'm not gonna give you an exciting answer when it comes to
It's
that,
not.
because I'm not a dating girl. Like, I don't necessarily enjoy dating. I'm more of a relationship girl. So whenever I am on the market, I'm very intentional about it, and
Yeah.
I always tell my friends, and they don't believe me. I always say, when I start dating, I'm like, within a month, I'm gonna be in a relationship. It always happens like that. It's very, very, not because I'm like settling or go out with the first person that I meet. No, no, no. It's just because I am, I am like romantically and in every
Yeah.
other way, I am. Attracted to men, but I don't actually like men. So I don't want to go out with men and
Ooh.
sit there and
Ooh.
talk to
That's
them.
actually a
And
thing.
it's
Yeah.
just like, so the less men that I go out with, the better
Yeah.
for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I think dating in Germany in general is extremely different from dating in South Africa. Maybe this would require an episode of its own, and I kid you not, because the differences are so humongous. I actually came across a creator who made a point that this is also has been my experience where German men don't really approach you directly. Like I've been out with girlfriends where men have bought us drinks, but they don't even come and talk to us. They will just like
That's
they are
interesting.
very interesting in that. So because I'm comparing this to South Africa, where South African men,
Whew.
like if you go out in the street, you will be approached by least 10 men. At least 10 men. South African men are very direct. They come to you, they talk to you. I think just African men in general, because sometimes in Germany they are like that as well. So I think in Hamburg, you just have to be like more intentional than you would be in South Africa. Because in South Africa,
Yeah.
the chances are much higher. They
Yeah.
just, yeah.
But do you feel like the intentionality kind of takes something out of it?
What do you mean by
Like,
that?
so when it's like the way we were socialized to think about romance and stuff, it kind of is like stuff just happens. Then when you now
Yeah.
actually have to take active steps for those things to happen, do you feel like it kind of removes from the experience a little bit? Like,
Actually, no.
like if it removes from it, like does it feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
less, dreamy or less romantic or less? I don't know. Do you
To
feel
the
like? Because
Like with the German
I've
men, you mean? I'm also not understanding the question.
so like how we say if you're dating in Germany, you have to be a bit more intentional as opposed to being somewhere where you might have been. So let me give an example. In Nigeria, I could go out with my friends to to eat or something, and then someone could like walk up to us and try to start a
yeah.
conversation, and then from there you get your numbers, you exchange numbers, and then things just progress, as opposed to dating on the apps, for instance,
Yeah.
right? Like that's not as natural as that. Do you feel like if I now met
Okay.
somebody on the apps, because of that intentional step, does it like remove from just how dreamy the experience is, or is it just the same?
To be honest, I've actually never thought about it. It's a very good question. I've never thought about it. Um,
Yeah.
and I also don't know if it has something to do necessarily with the apps and the personal contact, or it has something to do with just maturity and getting older. And also the fact that so much of our lives today are really just, they are, no, I don't want to say controlled, but they're influenced by the apps,
True.
anyways, you
True.
know? But I do think that it is so much more romantic to meet somebody platonically, to meet somebody in
Yeah.
real life. If you're sitting, in a bar or you are out somewhere and a
Yeah.
man approaches you, and I think one of my friends actually who is married and she met her husband through the apps. Um, and she actually said to us, we were having a chat as in brunch last year sometime, and she was like, if you're going to go on the apps, you have to give the person grace and or give the person people that you're dating grace as if you met them in real life, because if you meet somebody in real life, it's very rare that you just fall in love with them immediately. A lot of
True.
times, if
That's
you meet
very
somebody
true.
in church or you meet somebody at work or you meet somebody wherever, your neighbor, you will it takes time before you develop a deep relationship with them. Whereas if you're dating on the apps, there is this expectation that everything has to be fast. Everything you have to know immediately. You have to know everything about the
Yeah.
person. You have to pick up all of the red flags immediately and all the green flags immediately. And
Yeah.
the intention has to be there immediately, which is not
True.
something that we actually expect from people that we meet in real life. So those are the differences or the sameness
Yeah.
of it all.
That's very
Yeah.
wise, actually. Because for me,
Indeed. I was
I
going to
hate the
say, yeah.
apps. Like, I really hate the apps. This is something that I've
There's like 4
We all
faced.
episodes
do,
of
girl.
Rufaro explaining to
We
us
all do,
just how
girl.
much she hates the apps.
We all hate the apps, girl.
Girl, you didn't have to go there, but I really I hate the apps because for me it's like, yes, I'm gonna give grace. I think this is a nice way of looking at it, but also me, I'm like you, like I don't like men, so also me giving men grace, generally it's difficult under any circumstances, so that's gonna be difficult to do. But I really think for someone who's intentionally dating, that's very good advice, because on the apps, how I feel about it, why I expect perfectionism somehow for myself, is because I'm like, the apps give you access to people you would never had access to. It gives you access to people you would never have met on the street, and the app is giving you a screen to hide behind. The app
Yes.
is giving you a filter to hide behind. Unlike in person, where I'm meeting a real person, I actually feel like if I'm meeting a person in person, that's when I don't give you grace. I give you some grace because I'm like, oh, you're nervous, and you kind of see me walking, and you're nervous, and you're scared that, okay, this is my only chance. If I let her walk away, where else am I gonna see her? So if you kind of fumble it while approaching me in person, I can give you grace because I'm like, nerves. Or maybe you're not even feeling yourself. Your outfit is not the best because you didn't expect to see this gorgeous woman, Rufaro, right? So, but in person, you can polish yourself you can polish yourself so much and make me believe that you are this perfect polished person. So if you approach me and you're not that, I'm sorry, you're gone. You're gone, because you're not using the opportunities these apps are giving you, you know. But at the
Yeah.
same time, why I hate also this app culture, I don't know if it's just me, I need someone to validate me in the comments as well. I feel like even the people who approach me in person, I now have this mental block when it comes to being approached in person, where I'm just like, you're being weird. Like, why are you talking to me? You know? Meanwhile, it's such a normal thing. Men talk to
Yeah.
women. Women should be able to talk to men.
Yeah.
But for me, I always have my AirPods in. The moment someone is like, excuse me, or Entschuldigung, I'm already with a face, I'm already like, you know,
What?
and
Like
it's not
what?
okay. I hate
Yeah.
that I do this, but it's like a conditioning, because in my head I'm just like, in Germany no one is dating like that anymore, everyone is on the apps, so why are you talking to me, you know? But
Yeah.
man, like you said, it's an episode on its own, and I will never get tired of speaking about dating in Germany, because I love
True.
hearing people's perspectives. It's daunting. Dating in Germany is
Okay.
daunting.
So then we need
but
to make
yeah.
another appointment. We have to have another
Yeah, we
game
do. We
Absolutely.
should.
just
We
talking
should.
about
Like,
dating.
Absolutely. You guys
Honestly, we
listening,
should.
we're setting it in stone right now, so stay tuned
Yeah.
for
And it's
the
always a
non-play
hot topic.
dating episode.
Yeah.
Because
No,
you
it's
did
definitely
mention
always
also
a hot
dating in South
topic.
Africa, and as someone, I lived a couple of years in Cape Town, so as someone who's also experienced dating in South Africa, I mean, I did not date, right, the whole time I lived in South Africa, but just looking what people do, how people, you know, this, and for me, South African men and Zim men, you could say they come from the same mother, because there's this aggression that even comes when a person is approaching you on the street. So, Mariam, I see you laughing. I swear, I'm not coming for Zim men, right? I'm not. I promise.
I mean, listen, Miriam
gonna
is
take-
Nigerian, so she's laughing because she's like, girl,
You
don't
know, she
what
knows
we
it
have to deal
different.
with.
Exactly. You see, the last episode we did, these girls were not understanding me, but literally, I think if we had Nonhle on that episode we did with Shoma, she would definitely validate me. We should do it together.
Do this
two
like
against
Southern
two.
men
Two
versus Western men.
and Southern.
Yeah,
Because
we need to do this because
yes.
the way Rufaro talks about Zim men, like honestly,
sorry.
like I have to start defending them because it's so bad.
but you cannot.
And I'm like,
If you had to hear me speaking about South African men, if you
my
go on any social media platform and you read or listen to what South African women say about South African men, you would, like, every single time somebody says who's not South African, anyone is like, my husband is in South Africa. I'm like, no, he is not. Your husband is not in South Africa. Girl, I remember
God.
last year I think it was last year during the AFCON. I think the AFCON was last year. And there was a game. I think I think it was Cape Verde was playing, and then South African men saw Cape Verde women. Now Cape Verde is a very small country, right? And then all of a sudden, South African men made Cape Verdean women, who are absolutely stunning, by the way, but they made them trend on social media. Cape Verdean women were very flaccid, naturally. When I tell you the South African women were like, you block them, block all of these men, cut it out.
Immediately.
Do not even
Expeditiously.
But what is the issue?
expeditiously.
I think that's the thing. I'm not hearing what the problem.
Okay,
Oh,
listen,
when
listen. Let's just.
when I
like,
tell you that we need to have another episode, I am not
gosh.
exaggerating.
Literally,
I am
Yeah.
not
No, but this is exactly how
exaggerating.
Rufaro is. So now there's two
Because-
people. I
okay.
have to believe that
Let
there's
me-
something
There
going
is
on.
something. Let me tell you. Okay, first of all, we need to set an appointment where we have you and a Western woman, or I'm just going to say Chioma at this point because we already had this
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
and Chioma, you represent the West. Me and Nonhle will represent the South. And I feel
Okay, we
like
have
for
to
me
do
and
this,
Nonhle, it's like,
yeah.
okay, I'm just going to say, right, I always do crash out on Zim men, but when I tell you, with my small experience of living in Cape Town, I wasn't even dating, but I can tell you that Zimbabwean men are actually much better than South African men. I'm
God.
so sorry. I'm
Oh my
so
God.
sorry to ruffle feathers, but it's the truth.
No,
And this
you're
is
not
coming from
ruffling my
me.
feathers. You're
I'm not
not.
lying.
You're not lying. When it's, I promise you, Miriam, if you go on social media right now,
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
at this moment, right, you will see so many amazing things about South African women. Every man
Absolutely.
who goes to South Africa, it doesn't matter where they're coming
Yeah.
from, they will tell you about how beautiful, how just how
The
amazing South
character as
African women
well.
are, the
Yeah.
character, all of the. You
Yeah.
will never see that about South African men.
Never.
There
But
is not
who's
a
raising
single
them? That's the thing. Is
woman
it not the
who
same
has
person
ever
raising
gone to
both of
South
them?
Africa, whether it was for 2 days or for 2 years, and said,
That
guys,
was like, I met the South
I met
African
the
man.
most amazing man in the world. It has never happened. Like, never, ever,
Oh my
ever, ever, ever
gosh.
happened. Do you
I feel
understand?
so
And this,
vindicated.
no,
I feel
absolutely
vindicated.
not.
I feel validated because the last
Oh
episode we
my
talked about,
gosh.
you guys were coming for me, and I felt like
No,
I did a
thing is,
bad job of
I wasn't
explaining it.
coming for you.
But
I
just
feel
hearing
so
Nonhle
bad
so
for them.
you
Yeah,
Do
shouldn't.
not
That's the
do
point.
not
You
feel bad for them
shouldn't.
because they do not feel bad for you. If you ever
True.
not,
Literally. Literally. Did you see the movement, the purple movement in South Africa for
Yeah, I saw
gender-based
that. No,
violence?
I saw that.
For
But again, we
something
can
to
also
get to
do that in
point,
Nigeria.
Just
This
imagine.
thing is, we can also do that in Nigeria, right? Things are also just as bad. If you talk about like the purple movement and all those types, like abuse and stuff like that. Like we can also do that in Nigeria, right? And Nigeria is like a big country, so I'm pretty sure the numbers are even weirder. But I think it's just that thing of, okay, we have to do another episode.
Girl, we'll do another
Because I can't
episode.
get-
All I can
No,
tell you,
looking at me
bottom
like
of the
there's nothing
barrel.
you're gonna
because when
say.
we coming, we're gonna talk about this on the most surface level,
We have to
Yeah.
be in person.
right?
We have to do this episode. Yeah.
But I will also talk about it on a much deeper level. Exactly, talking about even just the culture of violence against women,
Yeah.
because it's not about it. Of course, gender-based violence is the worst part of it, right? But it's in the culture. It's what even
I see
creates,
what you mean.
or
So
yeah,
even like the language is
the
abusive. Even
language
like
that is spoken, the language, and it's not just, oh no, they're not cute or something. It's so much deeper than that, on
So much.
all different levels.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. So whenever a woman says to me, "Oh, my husband," or even it was what's her name? Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was one of the first times she was going to South Africa, and I think she wanted to date, and all the South African women were like, "Do not do that.
Cut
Cut
the
it out
camera.
expeditiously,
Yeah.
immediately, immediately." And then afterwards, she made a video about. She was like, "Okay, okay, okay. I trust the girls." She's like, "I trust the girlers," and I'm telling you, just don't do it.
I guess
And just
it's
by
now
me saying
making
Zim men
sense to
are
me.
better, when I tell you Zim men are light years better than South African men, and this is coming from
Oh
a
my
person
God.
who has bashed Zim men
Yeah,
so much,
yeah.
trust me, Nonhle is on something. She's definitely on something. My experience was short, but
Yeah.
still it was enough for me
That's
to actually
crazy.
notice that, nah, this is crazy business. But now we'll have to do an episode. You guys
Because
have to stay tuned
because
for
my
this.
question is always like to Rufaro, it's like we in the West, or at least in Nigeria, we don't understand this like attraction to Nigerian men from Southern women. We just don't get it because it's like,
Maybe after the episode, you will
again, I
somewhat
don't think it's
understand.
that bad. I don't think I can like the way you guys are saying South African men. I don't think I feel that way about Nigerian men, but that's even me personally. There might be people that feel different, but I don't think it's that bad. But we just don't get, because it was like we're like, is it this same Nigerian men that you guys are like
But
interested
that's
in?
that's
This
the
is how we
thing. It's
feel.
like your worst experience with a Nigerian man, you can never compare it with your worst experience with a South African man. That I can tell you. You can never. They are both your worst
Nonhle is like,
experiences,
I don't
but they
even
are
know what
not
to say
the
anymore.
same. Because the worst, at least according to social media, the worst a Nigerian man is gonna do
Yeah.
to you. Yes, I'm not saying there are no violent Nigerian men, right?
No,
But
there's
like the
definitely
worst,
that as well.
there is
Yeah.
that as well. But like from what social media sells, the stories you hear the most, the worst they will
Is
do
the
to you is maybe the
cheating, is
lying.
having
They
the
will, yeah.
lying.
But the
But
worst
the
a South
line is
African man
so
will do
weird,
is kill
Rufaro. I
you.
don't like the line is okay. True, that there's that. I can't compare those two, but the line is.
Now, I would
I don't
rather
get
have a
it.
liar than a person who can kill me just because they snapped. Like,
The thing is that also in South Africa, um, now it's not that I'm defending South Africa or the gender-based violence in South Africa. The reason, though, in South Africa, it also seems to be so exacerbated, the gender based violence. It's
Yeah.
also the same thing that was with HIV infection stats as well as with COVID,
Yeah.
right? South Africa actually is really good with stats and with collecting data.
Okay.
It is the one African country, but even in comparison to other Western countries, because in Germany, just last week, I actually read a report that there is a huge issue with gender based violence, but a lot of the cases are also not reported. So in South
Okay.
Africa as well, it does seem like it is the worst of any African country simply because we collect data and we speak out about it. So I
that
don't know
part.
if statistically, I cannot sit here and say statistically, South Africa is the worst with gender based violence, because I have also heard about really terrible cases in Nigeria or with Nigerian men, also with Nigerian men who are living in South Africa. A couple
True.
of years ago, it was like Burna Boy, for example, is not really welcome in South Africa. He
Yeah.
tried to
I
have
think I
concert in
remember
South
that.
Africa, and
Yeah.
South Africans were like, absolutely not. Why? Because he left with a South African woman, and the woman returned in a body bag.
Really? I didn't
Yes.
know this. I thought you guys cancelled him because of his
Yeah, I thought it was
outrage
because
when
of the yeah.
xenophobia and
Of
stuff.
what? Because
Yeah,
of
I thought it
what?
was because of the xenophobia. You know, when he
Like
spoke
his
out
No.
tweets and
against
stuff.
No,
like the
no,
fake,
no.
his
No, no,
fake,
no. No, no, no.
What?
Oh,
That
How
is
did I
not the
not
reason
know
why.
this?
That is not. I mean, Thames was in South Africa, and South Africans went. Thames is Nigerian. We love Thames in South Africa. It had nothing to do with xenophobia. It had everything to do with the fact that, I mean, we talked about this a little bit in the live podcast recording.
Yeah.
Is that, of course, there is again this perception that South Africans are xenophobic. It's not that there are no xenophobic South Africans, but South Africa as a country, as a culture, we're actually very welcoming people, and we get along with everybody. The
yeah.
problem in South Africa, that now this is a related topic that is kind of interconnected to what we're talking about. The reason South Africans have an issue with some migrants is because of the illegal immigration. So, what happens is that when illegal migrants commit violence in South Africa, there is no way of tracking them. The police can come there, look at fingerprints, but because they are not registered in the system, they don't know who the person is. They don't know who the criminal is, right? And it's not that all the migrants or the African migrants in South Africa are violent or they're criminals. They are not. There are so many African migrants in South Africa who pay taxes, who actually benefit, who do not only take from the system, but also give
Also
back to the
gifted,
system.
yeah.
Right? The way that we do in Germany. With the three of
Yeah.
us are migrants in Germany. The issue in South Africa is that there is just so many people who come to South Africa because they know that they can get away with it, right? So that also includes Zimbabweans, it also includes Nigerians, it also includes other African migrants. But generally, as a society, we are actually very, I said this also in the last episode, that during apartheid, a lot of African countries, they protected our politicians who were in exile. So we know that we are forever indebted and we are forever grateful for that. But the issue of xenophobia, again, because South Africa has a free press, South Africa really has freedom of speech. We really have freedom of speech. One of the things I love the most about South Africa, South Africans speak up. They speak up about everything that is happening. You see it on social media, you see it in the news, you hear it in the radio. There is no censorship. So a lot of things in South Africa, they appear to be worse than anywhere else in other countries. Whereas, no, it's just because of the data. It's because we actually collect data. So even with gender-based violence, it's not that South Africa is the worst. It's just that we actually collect the data. So we
Yeah.
can tell you that, excuse me, so we can tell you that so many women experience gender-based violence. And then it seems like, oh, that means that this doesn't happen in other countries. No, that's not
No,
what
it
it is.
definitely does. This is what I was saying, that I'm pretty sure, like with Nigeria, it's like what you're saying. We don't have proper data collection and all of these things, but I'm pretty sure just because of obviously the size of the country, I'm pretty sure if the numbers were ever counted, is probably worse, because we see
Yeah.
the stories, like the ones that even make it to press, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff that you can't even wrap your head around, like, family members abusing their kids, fathers abusing their
Yes.
daughters, things like that. Like, it's so rampant and it's so common, and we know this. Like, remember when we had that conversation of, like, these days we count ourselves so lucky to say, we're so fortunate to have not had like any type of extreme abuse situation in our homes, because like every other person you talk to is like, yeah, my uncle did that or my dad did that. Like, and that in like Nigeria is something that we're so aware of, but again, like you said, we just don't have the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But
In a
the
nutshell,
whole
men are
thing,
the problem.
Pardon?
I said, in a nutshell, men are the problem.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, there's nothing you can
Yes.
say to refer
Yeah,
convince
yeah,
us
yeah.
otherwise. Yeah,
We can
because
sit
no,
Yes.
here
it's
and
it's
say
so
South
bad.
African men, Zim men, Nigerian men.
Yeah,
At the
yeah,
end of the day,
It's
all of them,
men.
put them in a bag, seal it, throw it in the
yeah,
ocean.
yeah.
It's men. It's men. The problem is men, guys. The problem is men.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, I
Like,
can't wait to do this episode again. I
oh,
really
me
can't wait to do this
too.
episode.
Me
We
too,
really
because
need
you've
to.
really opened my
We
eyes
really
actually
need
about a
to.
lot of things, but we'll go
Yeah.
deeper into
No, we
it.
really need to do it. And we need to go deep. But honestly, I think for this episode, let's still like bring it back to Nonhle, because I feel like
Yeah.
we're straying a bit, but let's
Right?
bring it back to Nonhle. And for me, when I was putting this episode together, there were so many things I saw that I was like, this is interesting. I did not know this about you. Like, it was really interesting for me to like do a bit of research and like I'm like, okay, now I can't wait to like go in and ask. But I think I just want to start kind of from the very beginning about like, you growing up, how you got into music, and then deciding to leave South Africa. Like, what kind of played a part in all of those things happening? Family, friendships, relationships, like what actually kind of took you out of South Africa?
Where do I even begin? It is such a long story. I have to try and make a very long story short. So
Yeah.
basically, when I got to high school, no, let me see, where do I start? Growing up, my mother says that I was very shy. My parents say that I was very,
Oh,
very shy. But my dad always
interesting.
tells the story that when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I used to sing a song. Do you guys remember Superwoman? I'm not your superwoman by Karen White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
dad said I used to love singing the song.
Interesting.
And my mom says that I was a very shy child, but she always put me in modeling competitions. And whenever I was on stage, I just came, alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also a very intelligent kid. Like academically, I was always like number one, number two in my class,
Yeah.
high performing student. And so I wanted to be a scientist. That is what
That's
I wanted to be,
interesting.
is to be a
Yeah.
scientist. But then when I got to high school, I remember it was like the second or the third week in high school, and it was during the break time. And one of the teachers comes to me, Miss Amanda Bahari. That's what was her name, and she
The fact
says
that
to
you
me,
remember that so clearly.
"Yes, I do," because
Yeah.
you understand how she changed the entire trajectory of my life. Because remember, I wanted to be a scientist, right?
Yeah.
And she comes to me and she says to me, "You, there is this performing arts competition, and I think you should enter it, and you should recite poetry." I was like, what? I don't even like poetry. I didn't know poetry at the time. I just knew like Shakespeare or something. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to do that. And she says to me, I will train you. And if you win, you get to go to the US to represent South Africa. I was like, what? Okay, girl, we'll do
Like,
it. I was like, I have nothing to lose. Let's do
Mm-hmm.
it. Now, remember at this point, I'm what, 12, 13? How old are you in the eighth grade? Something like that, 12,
Mm-hmm.
13. I said, okay, cool. Let's do it. And lo and behold, and also to another thing is that to preface this is that I used to sing in the church worship team, in the church choir as well. But this was not special because in my church, there are a lot of very famous and very successful gospel singers who are South African. Now they're international, who come from my church. So the ability to sing was nothing special. It was just like one of those things. But then I go to high school. I also joined the school choir, and also participated in this competition with the school choir as well as with my poetry recitation, and I won.
oh,
I
Interesting.
won.
nice.
So I won, and then I told my parents, and then my parents, they funded my trip to the US.
Mm-hmm.
And in the US, I got second place. Right. And then from that moment
Wow.
on, people made a big deal of my singing. Because remember, before then it was like, okay, I can sing, nothing special. And people kind of made a big deal, like, oh my God, you have such a beautiful voice. And then I started falling in love with singing and with performing. And then from that moment on, I entered that competition every year of my high school. And every single year I won. I have actually, I don't know, maybe 20 medals from that one competition.
Wow.
Interesting.
And I developed this love for the stage from that.
Yeah.
And then I then told my parents that I wanted to study the performing arts, and
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what I did. And that's how Miss Amanda Bahari changed the entire trajectory of my life.
Oh,
Shout out
that's
to her
so.
wherever she is.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Oh my God, have you like connected with her in, since you moved? Oh, that's
When
interesting.
I first moved to Germany, which was obviously a very big deal for me, and I was in the Lion King, I wrote to her. I found her on Facebook, and I told her how she changed my life and how she
Oh,
influenced me being here, and I thanked her for that. But I
yeah.
don't think she understood how great of an impact, because I mean she did
Yeah.
reply, but it was like, oh, thank you so much for letting me know, I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I was like, girl, you don't understand what you've done.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, right?
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like she
Or
needs an
maybe she does and
invite
she
to
just didn't know how to
something.
like, but yeah. But anyways, I was good. When you were talking, I was like, what were my teachers? Anyways, moving on.
Oh my God, oh my God. You know what you should do? You remember when Adele, what
I was
was
thinking
it?
about that moment. Yes, I was thinking
Yeah, you should
Yeah,
pull
about that
that
yeah.
that
moment.
on her. You should
Yeah.
definitely. I don't know,
Yeah.
when you're winning a Grammy or something, and
Yeah.
she's just in the
Yeah.
audience. Maybe then she would like truly understand like the impact
Yeah.
of. That
Maybe.
is
Yeah. I
so.
would
That
love
is
to do
such a
that.
Interesting.
story.
Yeah. No,
I would
it's
love
such
to
a
do
cool
that.
story, and it's always so interesting to have like that one person or that one moment that you can actually remember. There are a lot of us that just kind of go through life and we don't have those, the memories of those like impactful moments that literally just shaped who we are now.
Yeah.
But it's such a cool thing. I'm now wondering. So, at what point did you decide to study in the U.S.? Because I know you did some of your like you first studied performing arts in
Yeah.
South Africa, right? You went to it was
No,
it
the
the
other way
University of
around.
Pretoria. Oh,
The
it's the
other way
other way
around.
around.
First in the
Oh,
US,
okay.
then in South Africa. So that came
Oh, okay.
about
That's even more
because
interesting. Yeah.
of this performing arts competition.
Mm-hmm.
So our first stop in the trip to the competition in the US was in New York.
Yeah.
And I remember I got out of, because there was a bus, it was a group of students, obviously from South Africa, all of us representing South Africa. And there was a
Mm-hmm.
bus that picked us up from JFK. And as we were driving through New York City, through Manhattan, because our hotel was in Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
I remember the moment I said, oh, when I grow up, I want to live overseas. I made that decision at that particular, I was 14 years old at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went back home, I told my parents, I said, when I grow up, I want to live overseas. And
Mm-hmm.
I have the most supportive parents in the world. It doesn't matter what I
Oh.
say. My parents, to this day, they will move heaven and earth to make that happen for me. And that's exactly what they did. So they started saving money for me. So that when I graduate high school, I could study overseas. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. So after high school, I went to study at the New York Film Academy and I studied acting for film, TV, and theater.
You
Yeah. Oh my
studied
God,
at the
Rufaro is
end.
so gagged.
Listen, no,
Yeah.
it was on my list of places I would want to like. Before I
Yeah.
actually, okay, so. Oh my God, this is exciting. First of all, let me just say, Nonhle, I just make in public a request to be booking you a lot because okay, so I don't know if you know this, but I will be studying to be a film producer from next month.
Yeah.
So before I actually made the decision, because I knew I wanted to be in camera work, but at some point I was questioning, do I want to be in front of the camera or do I want to be behind the camera? But then after like kind of semi studying a lot of people who've made it in the industry, a lot of them are producers first before they're even actors. Like it's easy to be
The
a
other way
producer
around.
who's
It's usually
true
the other way
actors
around.
who become
Yeah,
producers.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
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 So in my head I was like, so it's easy if I maybe study performing arts and then I end up producing. So and NYFA was actually on my list for the longest time of places I wanted to go study. For the longest time, I even asked for the
Yeah.
brochures. At some point, I still have them on my emails, where I asked
No.
for the brochures for the with the infos and stuff and stuff. And then there was a time they would always be sending me those automatic emails. Still interested? Still interested? So
Yeah.
it's so funny that someone actually did this at NF for NYFA. I
FA.
cannot speak. But yeah, girl, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
when I
locked
saw
in.
it, I was like, Rufaro is going to be so gagged because,
I
she's
am
actually just in the
gagged.
process of
I am
starting, which
gagged because I'm like,
we're
"Ooh."
looking forward to that experience. But what was that like, though, studying in New York? Because
Oh
that's one of those
yeah.
cities that, that everybody's like, I've never been, but, it's like on my list. It's one of those things like I have to do it once
You
before I
do.
leave this side of the world.
You do. Everybody has to experience New York. I was 19 years old and in hindsight, I think to myself, what? Like what type of courage did I have? Because I did not
Yeah.
know anybody. No one in my family had ever lived overseas. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever lived overseas. Nobody had, I don't even know if anybody had gone, maybe like extended family, I don't know. But I took that decision at the age of 19 and I went to New York to live by myself for
Yeah.
months. And it was obviously one of the most impactful and most important experiences of my life because, again, it changed the entire trajectory of my life even further because it's how I also ended up in Germany. Because I just knew from that moment that I did not want to live in South Africa. And this had nothing to do with me disliking South Africa. It just opened up my mind to I always describe this experience as you growing up, obviously, you watch movies, you watch TV, and you know that there is an overseas. Do you know what I mean? But being there actually made it real for me. It's like it was that there is a whole world outside of South Africa. There is a whole world to be seen, to be explored, to be experienced. And so when I was when I was studying there, I met people from all over the world, and I just knew that this is definitely what I wanted to do and how I wanted to live the rest of my life.
That's so
That's
nice.
nice.
And is it as like extreme as people say? Like, because New York, like the picture people paint, at least pre-pandemic, it's like this really extreme city. Everything is on like 100 all the time. People
Yeah,
are
life is so
annoying. People
fast.
are nice. People are wild. People are dangerous. Like, it just feels like such an extreme place to be. Is it actually that way in real life?
New York is exciting.
Hmm.
Um, and also always say to people that nobody can explain New York to you. It's something you have to experience. It's like a Beyonce concert. Nobody can explain a Beyonce concert for you. No TikTok video or whatever video
Exactly. Yeah.
can truly embody a Beyonce concert. It's the same thing with New York. It's not just because it's extreme. There is something in the air in New York that makes you feel like anything is possible. Anything.
Interesting.
Anything you can imagine, anything you can dream of, any goal you can set for yourself, it's possible. And it is because of those extremes that you see. Like in New York, you will see the poorest of the poorest people. And also on your right hand side will be the wealthiest human being in the world. That is how extreme that place is. So there's always something happening in New York. You can never be bored because it's on 24/7. And the people are they're on the move. Everything is on the move all the time. Yeah, so I love New York. I just I find it to be so exciting, so
Yeah.
interesting.
Do you still have friends there? Do you go back often?
I don't go back often, but I do have friends there that I still stay in contact, and I probably will not
Yeah.
go back there at least for the next 4 years.
A
Yeah.
girl, like, so why Germany? Like, from New
This is
York,
my
like,
next
this
question.
this
Like,
is
I don't know how
sounding
you go
like
from
the
that.
life.
She was
Like,
like, I was in Manhattan, this, and now we are Essenbrüchen. I don't
and
get it.
although I
I
do
don't
understand
get
the
it.
dynamic where things have changed so much, the Germany under Merkel and then the US back then under, who was it under? Was it the Democrats? I don't know. It's like it's now a shift where now the US now, like Mariam once said in an episode, no one could pay you to
Yeah.
move to the US. But I'm in the mindset where back then the US sounded like the place to be. So, girl, why Germany? Like, why Brötchen? Why Daddy Das?
Not
Indeed.
Britain. Why
It's
Britain
definitely,
instead of
Why
Philadelphia?
Brötchen when you could have
Okay.
Chipotle?
you
Why
know?
would I have Chipotle? To be honest with you, my dream and my goal was to go to New York. So I auditioned for The Lion King in South Africa, and I got offered a contract to come to Germany. And I was very skeptical about coming to Germany because I did not know much. This is how old I am. Like this was prior to what social media is today. Of course, there was
Yeah.
the internet at the time, but I think social media, because of the personal interactions and people sharing their own personal experiences, it's different than you going on the internet and be like, oh, how is Germany? Okay.
Siberia.
So I didn't know the
Siberia.
language. There was all you knew back then was, German history, which we're not going to
Yeah.
get into. But that's all you knew. You knew that Germany is cold, and in the movie it's always gray and it's always dark. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
come to Germany. But I accepted the offer, and I actually liked it. And but
Interesting.
also that was a journey to getting to the point where I like Germany. It was not I wanted to say gerade. It was not a straight journey. So there were
Makes
many
sense.
ups and downs. And I think up till today, there's always ups and downs in Germany. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, what am I doing
absolutely.
here? You're like, what
yeah,
am I doing here?
yeah. That like when I saw this, I was like, how did she end up in Hamburg? But I think the most important thing I would say is, what was that experience like during The Lion King? I've also never watched this show, and I lived in Hamburg for like 3 years. I never watched it. No, I know.
We need to change
Shame.
that expeditiously. We need to change
Yeah,
that. And I'm so for
yeah.
real.
Yeah, and
You have
I've
to watch
only
it.
heard great things about it, and I even used to have like, I used to know someone in the show, but yeah, I don't know, I never went.
Oh, you need to come.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need to arrange this. We need to
Next
make
time
this
we're in
happen.
Hamburg.
yeah. Next time we're in Hamburg, I guess
Absolutely.
this is what we have to do because I've only heard great things about it. But yeah, but how was that like for you? Like
Amazing.
coming to Hamburg, doing the show. How long did you do it for?
It's always a difficult question to answer. So I did the show for 5 years, but
Okay.
ever since I left the show, I've always been back at least once a year to do the show.
Oh,
Ah,
So the last time I did
wow.
it was, I think November or beginning of December last year.
Okay.
okay.
So when
Yeah.
when next are you doing it? I guess we should try to watch it when you're doing it then. When
What
Yeah.
am
next do
I?
you think? When next are you gonna do it?
I don't know. They usually call me and they say, Nonhle, are you available? Sometimes it's,
Okay.
are you available today? I've
Oh,
literally gotten a
Oh.
call at 1:30. The one time I was like, are you in Hamburg? I'm like, yes, why? Can you come and do the show tonight? I was like, what?
what?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's like that.
What's your
Sometimes
role? What was your role?
I played multiple roles. So I played Rafiki,
Oh.
I played Shenzi, I played
Yeah.
the singers. So I played multiple roles.
What's your
Which one did you
favorite?
enjoy most? Yeah.
I want Rafiki.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Rafiki
interesting.
is the most challenging role of
Mm.
all the roles. It's very, um, yeah, it's very challenging. It's in artistically, vocally, acting, physically. It's
Yeah.
very challenging. So, and I love
Yeah.
that. I love a challenge.
Okay.
Look at you.
Yeah. That's interesting. At what point did you decide, okay, I'm doing this show, I'm in Hamburg, I think I could do this for a long time? And
You mean,
why? I think
you
it's
mean?
still the why. Like, decide like you were gonna just, stay in Germany, work,
Oh,
and like, what
okay.
at what point did like that all
Okay.
come together?
Yeah.
So I actually left The Lion King because I wanted to go back to the US. That was my
Oh,
plan. My
Okay.
plan was I want to leave The Lion King and I want to go back to the US and I want to establish myself in the US. And but then there was the Arbeitslosengeld, no? And I was like, you know what? Let me enjoy my Arbeitslosengeld for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And because the Lion King Theatre, for the people who do not know, who are listening and don't know, or watching and they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
is on an island or the other side of the river. It's not an island actually,
Yeah.
but it's on the other side of the river,
Yeah.
right? And once you are on that island, once you're in the theater, you're stuck there, right? You're just stuck there for the rest of the day. You're
Yeah.
there. It's not like you're not allowed to leave, but you need to take a boat. And
To the
this
other
is
side.
very,
Yeah.
yeah. So once you're in the theater, you sit there until the rest of the day. And so when you are doing a theater show, you're always working when everybody else is free. And when you are free,
Mm.
everybody else is at work because
Yeah.
the people who have regular corporate jobs are the people who come to watch the show, right?
Yeah.
So you're working in the evenings, you're working all day in the week on the weekends, and you're only free on a Monday. So what happens
Mm.
is if you're coming outside of the country, like me, I'm an immigrant, um, your whole life or my whole life was centered around work.
Yeah.
Most of the cast in The Lion King is South African. and then everybody else, or most of the people, are immigrants. So from Brazil, from Cuba, from Australia, from all over the world. And so it's a very English speaking community. And there is really no challenge in to integrate into German culture. You don't have to. So all of your friends are there. Usually people date there. You're spending all of your life based with your colleagues. Your colleagues are your
Yeah.
friends are your colleagues, right? So in the first 5 years of living in Germany, I just didn't know anything about Germany. I didn't have to know anything about Germany because I didn't have to. I just needed to know where the gym is, where the supermarket is, and I do
Yeah.
all of these things with my friends. So when I left the show, I then took the time to actually integrate myself into the German culture, to understand Germans, to learn the German language. I went to German school. Um, and I was like, one day I was walking in Wankebergstrasse and it was cold. It must have been December because it was ice cold. I remember this day. And I was just, I was like, you know what? I actually like it here. That was it. I was like, I actually like this place just because I took the time. And I know people listening are like, what? You got to know Germany and then you decided that you like it? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of things I like about Germany. There's a lot. There's a lot of things that I do like about Germany and about Germans as well.
Girl, I
Like
need to
what?
learn from you.
I'm actually like curious. Like what exactly? I'm
It's just
sorry.
like,
I mean, I don't like to be the. Yeah. Me and Germany, our relationship is very, very, very awkward.
It's
But yeah, but
toxic.
I'm
okay, I'm
curious.
just
It'll
like,
be interesting to know like what exactly, especially Hamburg as a city.
I like the fact that I can walk outside at any time of the day.
That's actually a thing. Yeah.
I'm from South Africa. I cannot walk anywhere in South
Yeah, I'm
Africa.
Nigerian. It's the same. Yeah.
I cannot go anywhere in South Africa. Yes, Germany has a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump over, but things actually do get done. In South
Eventually,
Africa,
yeah.
That. Yeah.
in South Africa, um, in South Africa, sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to have certain privileges just to get
True.
things done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's sometimes a lot of uncertainty. Like I only got my. I don't want to get into this story because it will be like another long story. I did not have a South African ID. I mean, because I got now I now have a German passport, and I needed a South African ID, a new one, and it took me 8 years. I only got it in January after applying for
What?
it. Yes. In Germany, it took me less than 2 weeks to get my ID because I can go online, I can set up an appointment, and then when I get there, if the
Yeah.
appointment is at 1:30,
It's
they
at
will
one
attend
thirty.
to me
Yeah.
at 1:30, and I will be out of there. It might take me 2 months to actually get the appointment, but when I do get the appointment, it will happen and I'm guaranteed to get the thing. In South Africa is a completely different, it's
Yeah.
something completely different.
I get it. I
Wow.
like I hear that part. I hear that part.
Now,
Yeah.
let me brag with Zimbabwe for a bit. When it comes to things like this, they are somewhat efficient. If you apply
Really?
for your, yeah, if you
No, in
apply for your,
Nigeria it's the
in
same.
Zimbabwe, your money talks for you. So if
That's
you
what
have
I'm
the
talking
money,
about. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, certain privileges.
yeah, but
In
like,
South
but you're talking
Africa,
bribe, right? I mean, so I
Yeah.
yes.
me and
Also,
Zimbabweans, don't call me out. I'm literally just talking about applying for
yes.
things like IDs and passport. Everywhere
Yeah.
else, we know you have to pay a little something, something. But like with passports, for example, they have the different systems of like the normal passport. I think goes for like $55 US dollars, and then you have a speeded passport for 3 days. Blah blah blah. So the prices are fixed and from what I've learned, they had a phase where it was not very efficient, but right now they've really changed their system. If you pay your $200 for the 3 day passport, I'm just fishing these numbers from somewhere before some person comes for me. If you pay your $200 for a 3 day passport, best believe it's gonna come out in 3 days. I actually do applaud them on that. I mean, it took us time to get to this point, but at
Yeah.
least on this one thing, allow me to just brag about them for a bit, like.
Let me tell you, in South Africa, the problem with South Africa is that in order for you to even get a foot inside the building,
That's
you
us too. Yeah.
That's
it's
crazy.
like you just stand in line. It's like you either gonna stand in line or you're going to have to pay
Pay
to
your
get
way in.
inside.
Yeah.
And I
That's
find
exactly
that
in Nigeria. Yeah.
and that's why I'm talking about the privileges, because it should not be
It
that way,
shouldn't.
because you cannot, there are certain documents like an ID, you cannot function. There's nothing you can
Yeah.
do without an ID. That should be the easy. I mean, I heard now that you can do it through your bank, but I heard this now when I was home, like 2 months ago. But for years, right? You had to, you get to the Department of Home Affairs. Some people get there at 4 a.m. and they will sit there for hours and then be told, sorry, we're not taking anyone else anymore. And then you walk inside, there's empty chairs. I actually made a video. I can even share the video with
Yeah.
you.
Wow.
There's empty chairs and people are sitting outside in the scorching sun. So that's what I mean when I say that Germany might, the bureaucracy here will drive anybody insane, but things do get done. Things will, you are guaranteed to get things done in Germany.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that I do like about Germany. It's very practical. I also, because I kind of made these videos. I don't know if you saw them on my TikTok, my last two videos, talking about reasons why you do not want to live in Germany. And I was just listing basically cultural differences. It could have just been culture shocks, but the way that I titled the videos. And I also talk about how impolite Germans are in comparison to South Africans. Now, I didn't say Germans are unfriendly. Nor did I
In
say that.
comparison to everybody, actually. Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand what it is in their culture that, like, just be polite. I don't need you to be friendly. I don't need you to be nice. Just be polite. Like,
I'm
it's
not
such a
crazy,
weird
right?
thing.
I'm not crazy, right?
No, of course not.
It's
Like,
a thing.
again, look at how I know people always say the Brits are fake, but I think I'll rather take the fake politeness
I've said
than
this.
what we experience here. It's such a
Yeah.
weird thing. Yeah.
But the thing is, that actually will be my next video, funny enough, because I wanted to talk about this. I came across this doctor. I think she is Nigerian. She's a PhD. She has a PhD I think it's in cultural communication. And she made a video, funny enough, a couple of days ago talking about small talk, because Germans hate small talk. South Africans and Africans generally, we love small talk.
Yeah.
And a lot of immigrants, they complain about how difficult it is to make friends with Germans, right? And the reason for that, it clicked to me at that moment. I was like, oh, actually, it's because Germans don't do small talk. So it's like, for me, the just the politeness and the friendliness is to say I'm open to new people. Whereas it's like, I don't know who you are. I'm gonna talk to you as if you're a chat GBT. So
Yeah.
how can I help
Yeah.
you? And then you're like, oh, I give me a coffee. That is rude. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's not the point. What I wanted to say is this, is that in the video, I talk about the impoliteness of Germans, how Germans do not say please, thank you, and excuse me. I've stood in, when you're blocking the aisle in a supermarket and there'll be a German person behind me with a trolley. Instead of saying, excuse me, can I pass? I can't see you, babe. You're
Exactly.
behind me. They
Exactly.
don't say, excuse me, can I pass?
They'll
You
rather
know,
stand there
I
for hours and wait or
right?
And look
squeeze
at
their
Is that
you
not
way
like,
crazy?
awkwardly. It's
Is
so
that not
crazy.
crazy?
Yeah, it's
Or
so
I
crazy.
do not know how many times I've held a door for a German person. They come past and they don't say thank you, and I'm like,
if
well,
I don't
you're welcome.
smash that door in your face.
Yeah.
Like, no, but for
You
real,
know?
it's such a small thing to ask for, in my opinion. It's not like we're asking for the world. We're not like asking for friendliness. So it's this thing, like Mariam said, I really would take, if they say the English people are fake, give me fakeness anytime, any
Yeah.
day. I would
'Cause it's
rather
just
have a
it's
fake
yeah.
interaction where we're like, oh, it's a bit chilly today, innit? And I'll be like, yeah, 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 it's like
Yeah.
3 degrees, mate. You know, we just exchange something, and then at the end, maybe you
Exactly.
walk away and be like, fuck off. And I also walk away and be like, fuck. But in that moment, guess what? I don't know if you were being fake or not. My hormones,
Yeah.
my cortisol is not elevated because of this. If anything, maybe I'm releasing happy hormones because my head just knows to accept it as a positive experience, interaction, instead of like a fake interaction. The fakeness is something I'm making up in my head. It's not a fact,
Exactly.
right? So
It's not a fact.
it's not a
It's not
fact.
a
It's just in
fact.
my head. But the rudeness or the coldness of a person not wanting, not even saying, "Excuse me, move your trolley," that's gonna. Listen, I'm an empath. Such interactions really affect. Well, now I'm at a point where I don't care much. But like such things
Yeah.
really do affect me. Sometimes I'll just be thinking, "Oh, did I do something to them? Was it something about it?" It would take a lot out of your day. Like, no one is asking for friendliness. Just be normal, man. But
Indeed. Like honestly, I
I
don't
But
don't
get it.
know.
Yeah.
but
I
I
don't get
wanted to
it.
say I wanted to say something else because we were talking about what it is that I like about
Oh yeah,
Germany and
yeah,
about
yeah.
Mm.
Germans. That's what I wanted to say. Is that Germans might not be warm, but they are very reliable and
Oh,
dependable.
absolutely.
If a German person says, I will do that for you, if I say, can you please help me, I don't know, put up a light? I don't know, can you just help me put up a light? Whether that person is my friend or my colleague or an acquaintance, if they say, I will be there on
They're
Saturday
gonna be
at
there.
11, they will be ringing that bell on Saturday at 11. There
Yeah.
will be no wishy-washiness. I don't have to text them on Friday and be like, hey, by the way, are you still coming tomorrow? Or
Yeah.
unless something, of course, unless life happens. But that is something about Germans. They are very, very dependable. My
Yeah.
people, on the other hand. My people, I
Just say
love my
Africans
people.
at this
Please, like
point,
the people
because
that are listening to this, I love my people. Like we know, come on, like we know how we are. Like it could be like, yeah, I'm coming, and then on Friday, sometimes somebody won't answer the phone. On Saturday, like, yeah, friend, oh, I forgot. Sorry, oh, I'm late. I'll be there at 3. Oh, can we do it tomorrow? And so, and I'm. This is like very much surface level, but just as a culture with Germans, that is one thing that I do like about them is that they are very dependable. They are very reliable. Also, when I first moved to Germany, I didn't speak a word of German, and there were so many things I didn't understand. And I remember there was this old lady who used to live across from me, old German lady, and even though she was not warm and welcoming as a South African would have been, she said to me from day one, if you need anything, if you need help, just ask me. And every single time I needed to understand something or help with anything, she always came with no issues, with no drama, no expectations. That's also the other thing. Germans, in my experience, they don't expect anything. If they say they're going to do something for me, they just do it and they move on with their day. They don't expect me to then, I don't know, pay them for it or bribe them because they got me a job. For example, I've been
Yeah.
recommended by Germans in for so many different things. Never expected anything in return. So
Yeah.
that's the other side, and that's why I don't necessarily always say Germans are not friendly. I don't say that, and but I do understand why they come across as unfriendly because when they do become your friend or the friends that I do have, they're quite reliable in general. They're quite reliable. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to unfreeze my mental block and start making
In
German
what
friends.
way?
And start
And making
making German friends because I just have this
it's
weird,
hard. It's hard.
right?
I can't remember
Yeah.
the last time I made any effort whatsoever. Like
Me
I always
too.
say on the podcast, like I can't remember the last time I made any effort whatsoever to insert myself in German spaces or have make German friends or like it just became a thing where I'm like I would go to work and there are Germans there, but that's work. and every other part of my life, really. Like, I don't think there's any aspect of my life that really involves Germans. And this even includes like my kids' schools. Like, because where we live in Frankfurt, and I think this is why I love like living in Frankfurt. Frankfurt is very like diverse. You're literally trying to find a German. It's like we could play that game the whole day and you might find just like, I don't know, five, right? Because it's so mixed here, and like there's like people that are, 4 or 5 generations already. So even if they are German, like, they have like the background of something else, and their cultures kind of sip into just the way they behave. So it's very different here compared to Hamburg. And even in my kids' schools, like, we can also try to play, count the Germans here. So it's just not something, I don't know. I guess I got to a point where I was just like, I can't deal with it anymore. And I just figured out how to like build my life in a way that I don't get offended often. So it works for me, right? And I know it's kind of sad because like a lot of people ask me, oh, what's it like being friends with Germans? I'm like, I actually
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea. I have
That's
zero
me too.
idea. Yeah, that's
I
But
my
have the same.
I also have an advantage. I have to say that my
yeah.
advantage is that I work in entertainment, and entertainers are very diverse as well. But also the Germans who work in entertainment are also used to working with immigrants. So the culture is different.
I see.
It's very very different. So a
Yeah.
lot of my German friends are entertainers, but I also have German friends who are not in the entertainment industry. And actually, one of my closest friends, who is German, she we became friends because of small talk. You know, again,
Interesting.
yeah, because of small talk. And she is the one who approached me, and we've been friends now for over, yeah. She's the one who, yeah, she's the one who approached me, and we've been friends since then. I've also made acquaintances. I won't say they are like friends, but like they are definitely acquaintances in events that I go to, and there is an interest from them in me. They are interested in me. So a lot of the Germans who are my friends, it's because they were interested in me, in getting to know me, and then they would welcome me into their space.
Yeah.
So, but it's not. I mean, most of my friends are also immigrants or very diverse.
But I had a
Yeah.
random thought about like how so there's a correlation between the Germans and their system. You just say the system is efficient. The people,
Yes.
when you really think about it, they are also efficient. That's why they are able to function like this. And
Yeah.
you can almost see it as like they are very robotic in that when they know this is the right way of doing things, they are so it's only like this. There's no, oh, like, but we could also do it like this, we could also, no, it's like this. I mean, it has
Yeah.
its advantages and disadvantages, but just looking at the advantages of this almost robotic behavior, I just had a random thought about, you really see it on the roads, for example. And I was just thinking about, I see dash cam videos. I don't know if on social media you see dash cam videos from different countries, the US and stuff. People just be doing the silliest things on the road, causing accidents. And I was just like, this is why in Germany they can afford to have no speed limits on the Autobahn, because
Yeah.
there's a certain level of trust or belief you will have on
Yeah.
the fellow drivers that
Yeah.
they're not
People
just
have
going to pull
sense.
some
That's the thing.
shenanigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
you can actually afford to have no speed limits, because you would expect that with no speed limits we would have more accidents on the Autobahn. But guess what? Most accidents in Germany are actually in the city where you're driving your 50 or 70. Because on the Autobahn, when people will hardly not blink. I mean, there are people who just change lanes without blinking, but like people are so they are so efficient in that once I need to change lane, I need to indicate. I also need to have enough space to do that.
Yeah.
I need to, this kind of thing. And I do have spaces where I really, really appreciate their efficiency, and this is one of them. It was just a random thought, because even when
Yeah.
I'm talking to people who drive in other countries, and I'll be telling them, yeah, on the highway you can like drive without speed limit, and they're like,
Yeah.
what do you mean without speed limit? Like, is there a maximum? And I'm like, no, you can drive
No.
220 if you want to. You can drive 300 if your car can do 300.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, just wow, and it's it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
I mean, the thing is this, like, exactly this. You made a perfect point, because I also always in my content, because in on my TikTok, this is what I do, right? I always compare life to South Africa and compare to life in Germany, or the cultures, the cultural differences. And it's exactly what I say about Germany, is that everything that is great in Germany also has its negative sides, right? Because I often say that Germans are very intelligent, but they lack common sense. And by that, I mean Germans don't know how to think on the spot. They don't have to be creative.
Because everything
Everything
is so programmed. Yeah, I know
everything
what
is
you mean.
programmed, and
Yeah,
everything is built. And I'm not even talking about just like the biggest systems. I'm talking about even just the small things. We do things like this, and we've always done things like this, and
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it works, we don't have to
We
change
can't
it.
change it.
Now
We
yeah,
the
shouldn't.
problem happens is that when something, because life will life, right? When something does not work in the way that it's supposed to work, Germans do not know what to do. They
yeah,
don't know how to react, because it's not innate in them to think on the spot and to
yeah,
come up with solutions. So what you find a lot of times is that there's a bureaucracy, whether it's in corporate, whether it's me at an event, it's like they're not prepared. Or if you say, oh, we need to change this because it's no longer working. I'll make an example with the with the English and German language. In Germany, the language of business is German. But now, in the last couple of years, there was a shortage of workers. So they needed migrant workers. But they still wanted the migrants to arrive in Germany and know German and work in
yeah,
German. And I'm like, that does not make sense. You need years to perfect German. There is no way you can come to Germany and speak perfect German
absolutely. Yeah,
in 12 months. It's just not going to happen. And that's what I mean when I say that Germany, as intelligent as Germans are,
yeah,
there's a lack of common sense, because everything is expected to work the way that it's created. So then that's why also when you look around and you compare Germany in 2026 with Germany in 2016, everything looks the same.
Yeah.
You go to the
They still use
Hafengeburtstag and
faxes.
it's the same stalls, it's the same food, it's the same
yeah.
thing. There is nothing changes in
Things
Germany,
don't
because
change quickly.
in
Yeah,
order
it's
for things
crazy.
to change, it takes such a long time. There's a process. I think you can talk about it if because you work in
Yeah,
corporate, is that just to change something, like if you're talking about we need to stop posting things. No, I'm not saying stop posting them, but there's email. Please, can we
Like,
communicate by email? It's like, no, but it's always been like this. So now
yeah.
at home, and you get so many mail, like physical mail, and you have to have like 20 files just for the
It's
mail over
ridiculous.
it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. And so
yeah,
on one hand, just to re-emphasize your point, Rafaro, is that you're absolutely right. Everything in this country is meant to be efficient, and you can rely on Germans because they will do what is supposed to be done. But the problem on the flip side of that is that when they can something cannot be done, it's also very difficult to find a
yeah,
solution.
yeah,
yeah.
that is so true.
No, that part is so true. It's so like it's so and it's so weird, right? Because like you said, there are sometimes that a situation would happen. Like just it kind of feels like nobody's innovative. Like everybody just has this one way of thinking and nobody's innovative. Nobody yeah. It's such a weird thing. Sorry, when we were talking, I was thinking about something I saw recently. I think it was on TikTok. Somebody was like 3 million Epstein files and no single German politician inside because they were
Listen,
still
that
using fax. And I was like, where is the lie? But it's also, I actually don't even think it's just about the facts thing. I think it's just,
they are just
I don't
straight
think
up.
Germans can, they can, like, I don't think they are, for the most part, I don't think they can just like do the wrong thing or like color outside of
Yeah,
like
just
the
willy
lines.
nilly. Yeah.
Yeah, just again, nobody's saying. Of course, there's still sexual violence and all of those things here. Like, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's just I can also imagine that it's like you wouldn't see just a politician emailing Epstein something random and sharing, leaking government deck. That's
Exactly.
it's just not something I can't even imagine would happen. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No, not the facts, girl. Like,
Yeah. Actually,
nah,
my own
that's
thing
wild.
when I saw it, I thought she was gonna say because they don't do sex except it profits them for tax. But I was that was
Mariam,
Guys,
you
the
are wrong
fact
for
is,
this.
no one will ever believe the fact that you can still fax stuff here. I
Listen,
think
yeah.
forget
It's
about that.
hey.
like it's like a real thing. Like there was one time I sent an email. This was maybe like 2 years ago, and the client, like the bow hair, he sent like this angry email back, like you didn't put the fax number in the thing, and my boss literally. Yeah, my boss saw it and he came to me and he literally came and he was like, you're in Germany. You have to put the
I
facts. Like he was
cannot.
joking because he was just like, obviously, it's so crazy that the guy took it so personal because the fax numbers these days are not even connected to an actual working fax, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like the fax number. I was like, oh, okay, sorry.
In the 2020, I cannot. Nah.
I
This
cannot.
is yeah.
I cannot. But
Germans and Germany. But it's
But we love
interesting.
you,
Again,
Germany.
I'm also getting to a point where I'm telling myself it's not all bad because if it was really, really all bad, then I wouldn't be here. Like we wouldn't be
Obviously.
here, right? That's the thing. I think it's like that thing you said about walking on Monkaberg and like just being like, you know what? My life is actually good. Like, because this is the same thing. Like for anytime I say, oh my God, like I do this once a month around PMS. I tell my husband, I can't live in this country anymore. It's time to move. We need to get out. Every month I do this. And then he's always like, okay, so where do you want to go to? Do you want to move back to Nigeria? And he knows for a fact, like the way we are now, we can't live in Nigeria anymore,
Yeah.
especially after being away for so long. Like it doesn't make sense. Like all these things you were saying, things don't work normally except you pay. People don't drive like everything is just insane, and I know for a fact I can't live there full time anymore. So he's like, then where do you want to go to the US? There's gun violence. Is that what you prefer? It's like he's like, where? Like I don't know. And the UK, there's knife crime. Like kids are not, it's not normal for kids anymore these days, like to grow up in London or anything like that. So where do you want to go? And it's actually just that when you sit down and you dip it, you're like, things actually work. You feel safe, am I really just going to uproot my life to an unsafe place just because I want to,
school is
have
free.
small talk or make
I don't
friends?
know
Or,
how it is in
Yeah.
Nigeria. I don't know
yeah.
how it is in Nigeria, but South Africa, you have to pay for school. Germany, you don't have to
Yeah.
pay for school.
Yeah, no, same.
No,
You have
in
to pay, and it's
hindsight.
expensive. It's
Yeah.
expensive. Like it's crazy. Like when I tell people are paying thousands of euros, like if you convert it for like daycare, like for nursery. We're not talking about like actual secondary school or anything. We're talking about like primary school, nursery. People are paying thousands because obviously, if you want your child to go to like a good school, whatever, it costs like everything. It's so weird. Yeah,
In South Africa, it's the same thing.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, man. But I
So
feel like in hindsight, Germany is actually, I mean, we do complain a lot, especially on this podcast. You guys know this at this point. But like in hindsight, when you really just think about it, the advantages and the good stuff about Germany
No, it
and
outweighs.
Germans,
It
they
definitely
actually,
outweighs.
by
Yeah.
light years, they are so much better. They outweigh the bad so much more. It's just that we do talk about
We're
the
gonna
bad
keep
because
this
it
referral
really
so that
affects.
you're going to be on the internet saying, "I love Germany. This is the best country
I
in
love
the world."
Germany. Ooh, Vaterland and stuff. Like, listen.
Yeah.
No, but I'm being for real. Like the advantages really do outweigh the negatives. It's just that we do talk about the negatives, just
far.
also to make people who are moving to Germany aware of these things, because some of these things for a lot of us, especially for Mariam and I, because we talk about it a lot, we were almost like surprised. We were shocked. It's like you're just being thrown in ice cold water. Had we had podcasts like this that talk about the negatives as well, you kind of know what you're getting into. It would kind of help navigate things. It would be like a softer landing when you do experience these things, because it's like
Yeah,
things that
absolutely.
do affect you on a daily, and they're like micro things, but as a larger picture they become a big thing. But then because also when you're new, even the functionalities that we're just talking about now, you don't feel them as well. Like the autobahn thing I just spoke about, when you're new, you're probably not driving because you're gonna need to convert
Yeah.
your license. You're gonna that's not something you probably maybe directly experience. The bureaucracy, it's something that you will experience though from day one.
And it
So
sucks, but it gets better.
yeah,
I think that was even another thing you add. It gets better in the sense that if you go past the struggle phase, and struggle phase is before you like get your citizenship and stuff, right? If you go past that,
absolutely.
it shifts a bit, because where are you experiencing these terrible things? It's like when you want to renew your visa, when you want to renew your residence permit. So if you like cross over to the other side, it
Other
does get,
side.
at least you don't have to deal with it as often.
Yeah.
You deal with it in other things, right? Which, yeah, I actually want to touch on that a bit with you as well, Nonhle. But yeah, you deal with it in other things, but not in like, not as often. Yeah.
But also to the people who are listening, what we are doing right now is the most German thing, which is
Right?
complain.
Oh my God, there's that.
We're just
Yeah.
complaining, guys. We're complaining,
Yeah.
and that is
Yeah.
exactly what happens. That's what Germans do. Germans
Yeah.
love to complain, and I don't know if you
Have you
guys
seen
have
when they
ever
fixate
seen.
on like the smallest thing and they can talk
And
about it
I
for like
know they
30
complain about
minutes?
everything, but I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys have ever watched this show Goodbye Deutschland, where Germans, honey, it's about
Sorry?
Germans immigrating. It's about Germans immigrating. So they move, say they will go to like, I don't know, Thailand for 2 weeks for vacation and then decide, oh, I should move to Thailand. And then they pick up their entire lives, they move to Thailand and like, I'm going to have like a coffee shop or whatever it is. And then it's about how much they struggle because there's obviously a huge difference between
And
visiting a
this is,
country and living there,
and
right?
living there.
But the
Yeah.
point
Absolutely.
of the story is every time Germans say, I want to move out of Germany, I ask them exactly what you and your husband, talk about, Miriam, is that I'm like, where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go? And most Germans actually, when they do move, they're moving really because of the weather. That's what the thing. That's the thing. Because I always say to them, you do not know how good you have it in Germany. Because the worst thing about Germany is that it's just not exciting. It's not exciting. It's not like New
Yeah.
York. It's not like South
Yeah.
Africa. South Africa is very exciting. Probably, I haven't been to Nigeria,
Yeah.
but probably Nigeria as well. It's
Same.
very exciting, and but also you're constantly anxious because you don't know what's going to happen, but you get used to the anxiety because you
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen. And in Germany also we are so privileged because a lot of things or most things in German they work the way they are supposed to be working so that we start to see the small things that we can complain about exactly the way that the Germans do. We just find like if you watch these videos that are made about the reasons why you don't want to live in Germany, I'm talking about the fact that when you go to a grill or a braai or barbecue, they'll have sausages instead of meat, right?
That and
That's what I'm
bread.
talking about. That's what I'm talking
Talk
about,
about
honey.
the
You know what
privilege.
I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking about things that are so, in the bigger picture, they're so insignificant. But because I'm privileged enough to see the small things, I don't have to talk about, oh, there's crime and
Yeah.
I'm afraid of getting kidnapped. I don't know if you
Yeah.
from countries where you can get kidnapped. These are not the
Exactly.
things that I'm talking. It's like these tiny, tiny, tiny little things. But also, speaking of Germans or being like you, the three of us here, because it's very German of us to complain. Somebody actually made a point, and once because I was like, "Ah, Germans are always complaining. It's actually very annoying." And he said that's probably why things work in Germany because Germans complain. Any little Germans will complain and they will complain. They will write letters, they will call, they will come and talk to you and say, you're making a noise. They will complain. You know that if you do something wrong, your neighbor or whoever is going to complain about it and you have to change it, right? And that is the thing that is extremely annoying on one side, but on the other side, it's exactly what
Why it
keeps
works.
things
True. I never
efficient.
thought about it like that. Yeah.
So again, there's always the pros and cons because in other countries, in South Africa, you can who are you going to complain to? What are you going to complain about? You know
Who's
what I
gonna
mean?
listen? Who's gonna
Who's going
even
is what
give
I'm
you the
talking.
time of
That's what I'm
day?
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Is that
They're gonna clown you. Yeah.
there are bigger problems in South Africa. There are more serious and important problems that if you're complaining about the noise level, of course, unless you live in an estate, with the body with the body corporation, of course, then somebody might do something about it. But for the majority of the population, if you're living in a township, people they don't even come to pick up the trash. They don't know who to come to because nobody cares. If they don't come
Yeah.
to pick up the trash here for one day, and I
Oh,
call, something is going to be done about that. So
Yeah.
again, that's why I say that we have the privilege of seeing the small things and making them big in Germany.
we
True.
do. We really
But
do.
then do you feel like it's also because what I kind of, the sense I get now is that over the years, and I've been here for 10 years, it's changed a little bit in the sense that because there's more and more immigrants coming. Again, I don't want to say that factually because I don't know how many immigrants there were in the 80s or in the 70s. So it's possible it's just about the same. But again, in my own experience, it kind of feels like there's just more, for instance, Nigerians, there's more Nigerians now. There are more people in, from my community here. It's kind of getting better in a sense because I can, if I wanted to, I can go to like a techno club party type thing, but then I can also go to like an Afrobeat party, and I now have that. But I feel like 10 years ago, it wasn't that easy to just like have like a really nice Afrobeat party, whereas today, like stuff like that exists. Do you feel like this is a thing, or is that maybe just in my own bubble, possibly?
So I've been in Germany for over 15 years, and when I first arrived in Germany, it was my peak party girl era, right?
Mm.
I party now sometimes, but that was my peak party girl era. I was
Yeah.
out every weekend without
Yeah.
fail. So I don't know how it was like in the rest of Germany, but in on the Reeperbahn, there were always R&B clubs. I mean, I, Afro. Oh, we also had a lot of the African restaurants, and I mean
Mm-hmm.
African, they'll be like Ghanaian, Nigerian,
Mm-hmm.
I think not Senegalese, but Cote d'Ivoire, different
Mm.
restaurants, and then those restaurants they will turn them into sort of like clubs on the
Okay.
weekends. So then they would play Afro beats because Amapiano didn't exist
Didn't
at the
really
time,
exist.
and
Yeah.
South African music was not international at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But on the Reeperbahn particularly, there were always R&B clubs,
Yeah.
always R&B clubs. So I never really missed that
Missed
part.
it. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like there's just more options and more things these days. Like back when I used to want to, like, I would, for instance, my own experience with the Reaper band is I would always go to the same club all, like, almost, every time I'm out, I'm going
The
straight to the same
Halo,
place because
was it
what,
Halo?
no, it was called Kings of Black Music or something. It's
I
like,
don't know that one.
you don't know that one? It's like at the beginning of the strip, on
Yeah,
the side street that
yeah.
has like yeah. So it's somewhere there, and I would always just go there because I know this is the only place that I'll probably get Afrobeat music. Maybe I should have searched a bit more, but once I found it, and I was just going, straight there. But then now I feel like there's just options. Like there's more people doing things, and more people creating. And talking about creating, I think this is the part that for me is so interesting. You now deciding to, be selbstständig and working for yourself. What's that experience like? What was the bureaucracy around even just setting that up? Because I know in Germany, like if you say I want to start my own business, everybody kind of looks at you like, are you crazy? Like, what do you mean you're not going to go to Arbeit and, verdienen Geld and all of that stuff? But yeah, what was that like setting that up, and what are kind of the challenges? I think because also this is coming out in like Women's Month for, being a woman in your industry, building your own business. We can call it a business, right? Building your own business around your music career. What's that experience like the good parts, the bad parts, um, racism, if there's any, that also kind of affects you?
So I am in entertainment. I'm a singer. I'm an actress. I'm a voiceover artist, and now over the last couple of years, I've become a content creator as well. And initially, I didn't even know that I'm supposed to register myself as Selbstständig because I did not have a blueprint. So
Yeah.
there was no one that I saw and or I didn't have a mentor who said, okay, this is what you have to do. So I had
Yeah.
to figure out things and find out things on my own, and sometimes in a hard way.
Mm,
All right, because we live
yeah.
in Germany and there's penalties, and
Exactly.
there's
Yeah.
no, in Germany, there's no I did not know. You will get
Okay.
fined. And I did experience that. But then for a performing artist, the registration process of it, of registering myself as a business, as selbstständig, was actually uncomplicated. I think I did at the Handelskammer, because this was like years ago. The thing that I did not know, the thing that almost got me deported, is I didn't know I needed a different visa. So at the time,
What?
yes,
Oh
I had a
no.
I had a visa. I did have a
Yeah.
visa. But I wasn't aware that my visa only allowed me to work in a theater. So I couldn't just, like, I don't know,
Girl.
work in a restaurant, for example, or work as a, in a
Interesting.
corporate office. I
Yeah.
only was allowed to work in a theater. And I didn't know this. So when I left The Lion King, I started, at some point, I started freelancing and earning money, paying my taxes. And then when my visa was about to expire, I went to the outlet
Ausländer. Yeah.
to apply for my visa. And then the lady was like, "Oh, where's your contract?" And I was like, "No, no, I'm now selbstständig, but I have, a lot of contracts, and I did have a lot of bookings
Mm-hmm.
from clients." And she was like, "What?" She was so she was like, "What?" And she was like, "And who gave you permission to do that?" And I was like, "What do
It's
you
like
mean? Permission to do
Oh
Schwarzarbeit.
that?"
my god.
Exactly. To her, it was like Schwarzarbeit. And so that's how I found out that I'm not allowed to work in Germany. And it was quite a process afterwards to try and undo that. And fortunately for me, number one is that I already had a lot of clients. And number two, I had been paying my taxes.
Mm.
So I had to get an immigration lawyer who handled the case for me, because otherwise they were like, I have to go back to South Africa and I have to
Apply
reapply
again.
for a
Yeah.
visa to
That's
get
so
back to.
shit. Yeah.
And I thought that was absolutely insane. So I got an immigration lawyer who was amazing. And of course, the process took about a year, over a year, maybe even it was over a year.
Yeah.
And I could prove that, I was living in Germany. I was not depending on Hartz-IV, and I also was paying taxes, and all of that then helped. But to set up the business itself, again, also that was a process. The very first thing that I did was to create a website. That's one of the first things. I did this on my own. One night, I stayed up all night and I created a website, and I put videos,
Yeah.
pictures from my phone, unprofessional, and I set up a website. And the guy that I was dating at the time was also very, very supportive. He happened to work in marketing, so he helped me with the marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I started getting clients, and of course, word of mouth. With, again, going back to what we were talking about with Germans and friendliness. A lot of my clients are the ones who recommend me to their friends and their families. So there's also been a lot of that. Um, yeah, that's how I've been able to build my business over the years.
Yeah. And do you sense any type of like racism in the industry? Like, would you, for instance, be hired more if you weren't black, or is there anything like that? Because again, your industry is specific, right? Entertainment and very different from what most of us go through. But did any of that play a part um,
I
in just
think
booking gigs and things like that? Yeah.
I think that with in my industry, me being black is actually an
An
advantage.
I was about
advantage.
to say, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the
Okay.
advantage, because there is an assumption that I'm very good at my job, but there is
Yeah.
also an assumption that I'm very good at my job.
Mm.
Whereas I think perhaps that perhaps if you're in corporate, there's an assumption that you cannot be good
You're
at your
not.
job because you're
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
So as a black person in entertainment, it's
Mm-hmm.
the other way around. And of course, sometimes you come across racist, but it's not common.
Mm.
Not something that I would say, oh, I experience this a lot, where I experience clients or guests even who are racist.
Mm.
It doesn't happen. It has happened, but it's not so. It's extremely rare. Let me say it like this: that it's
Yeah.
it's extremely rare that I cannot even talk about the particular instances, and in the instances that it has happened, my colleagues, if there were other colleagues, like German colleagues there, have also been supportive in
Yeah.
in in snipping it in the bud. And so I've also never felt, because I'm also very outspoken. I've also never felt like, microaggressions. You can feel
Yeah.
microaggressions.
Yeah.
So for me, I also have no shame, or we'll go band for band if you want to take it there. We'll definitely go band. Like, sometimes I remember an instant I was performing at an event, and the band was already there, and I was arriving later on because my performance was later on. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I walked through the door, one of the people who worked at the venue, it was more like, "Can I help you?" Now, it wasn't the type of "Can I help you?" a genuine, like, "Do you need help?" Because that happens. Like, a lot
It
of
was
times
more
when
so
I'm
what are you doing
arriving,
here? Yeah.
yeah, and at a venue, it happens.
Yeah.
It's common that, oh,
Yeah.
because there's so much happening backstage, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there is usually someone there who picks me up from the entrance to show me where to go. But this was one of those. Who are you? What are you
Yeah.
doing here? It was
Yeah.
definitely one of those. Like, what are you doing here? And
Yeah.
who are you? Are you in the right place?
Are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
lost?
Yeah, you lost. So so whenever I pick things like that up, then I can also be sassy.
Mm.
So
Love that.
yeah, in general, no, I would be lying. I would be lying if I say, oh, it's actually a very racist industry.
Industry.
I feel like this industry specifically, it's different from every other industry. It's like you are the one coming out to see, you're seeking me out and my services, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out
Yeah.
of your own free will. It's unlike
Yeah.
in healthcare, for example, you are seeking out the services out of need. You need a doctor, you
Mm.
need a nurse. So because you actually need the care and the help, right? So I can understand why a racist person would then be bamboozled when they go there and they meet a black nurse, a black doctor. Then their racist self would just come because they, in their deluded head, they did not expect to meet someone black, right?
Yeah. It's so bad.
And it's the
Yeah.
same in corporate as well. If I'm calling a company a company and I'm expecting an electrician to come to my house, I don't, as a racist person, for example, I don't necessarily expect the electrician to be black, right? If I call for and I need accounting and I call an accounting firm, I don't automatically, as a racist, I don't automatically expect the accountants to be black. But in
Yeah.
entertainment, though, I feel like you're the one going for the show. You hear Lion King, obviously you're not going to go for a Lion King and expect to see white faces when the storyline itself is just based in Africa,
Yeah.
right? It's things like this. So I feel like even if a racist is to be in those spaces, they also know to rein it in and behave because they're there out of their own free will. It's not out of need. So I do feel like this is one industry where you actually would maybe have an advantage when being black or a POC, or maybe not an advantage, but you are kind of on neutral ground. As a black person and as a POC. So
Yeah.
yeah, Mariam, come join the industry because I'm about to be
I
talking
this
like
is no, but
Nonhle very
I
soon.
feel like podcasting is my small way in, basically, because yeah, like I always say that when I look back at my life and like just how my career has gone, there's so many things that I'll do differently if I could go back. But at the same time, I'm still grateful for, like, at least me pushing myself out of my shell and out of my comfort zone and doing some other things. That has definitely helped. I can't imagine if all I had was, my professional career in Germany. Like, I would have lost my mind now. I would
And
have
no
definitely lost my
Rufaro.
mind by now. Like,
Imagine
it
your
would have been
life without Rufaro. Like,
it would have been so bad. It literally would have been so bad. Okay, I know we want to wrap up, but before we go to, like, just the last parts, and we just want to ask you, like, a few questions. I'm thinking if you could talk to, like, young people, young women moving to Germany, basically starting out like you 15 years ago, right? People that are just starting out their experiences now. What would you tell them? Not, it doesn't have to be an advice, but what would you tell them, basically?
So I would say that first of all, always remember why you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Always remember why you are here and keep first things first. Remember the priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get sidetracked. And it is easy also to get sidetracked in Germany. But on a practical level, I would say you have to prioritize learning German because you want to be independent and you want to be confident.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing a language and not knowing how to communicate in that language is debilitating. And
Mm.
you don't want to be dependent on people reading your mail for you or calling the bank or I don't know your cell phone provider because you don't know how to communicate yourself. Learning the
Mm.
language is extremely empowering. It's not just for the Germans, it's actually more for yourself because once you know the language as well, it's easier to understand the culture, to understand people, to understand what makes them tick. It's just it makes life easier. That's like the first thing that I would say is that prioritize learning the language.
Mm. Okay,
love
that's
that.
actually a good one. No, that's actually definitely a good one. Yeah, we're gonna do this, and this part is interesting because this is the first time we're doing this with a guest. So we're starting this new segment where we just ask questions around, like, what you're into at the moment. So I'm gonna ask just a few, right? So is there any product that you're loving at the moment? It could be an app, it could be an actual product like beauty, skincare, makeup. Is there anything you're loving at the moment?
I'm loving La Roche serums. So
Mm-hmm.
I for the day I use a vitamin C serum by La
La
Roche
Roche
for the
Posay.
day,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the retinol in the evenings.
Okay.
And both another product that I do love that goes together with that is the Veleda skin food. So I use the light
Okay.
one during the day. You do you too? I use
Yes.
the light one during the day and then I use the normal one at night.
Okay.
That's
Girl,
my skincare.
Veleda. Shout out Veleda. Because I literally just got on Veleda skin food not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago. And I was like,
Oh,
why
really?
did no one tell me about
This
this?
is
Because I only
Welcome,
bought the
interesting.
girl.
small one from DM to like try it out. And I put it on my
Yeah.
skin. I'm like, it really is skin food. Nah. And you guys know
I'm
we're not
gonna go look
sponsored.
for
This
it
is
now.
genuine. It is
Yeah.
amazing. It is amazing.
Okay.
Like,
You
even
don't even
without
have to look
anything
for
else.
it.
Ooh,
You don't even have to
DM,
look for it.
like,
It's
girl,
at DM. It's even at Edeka. It's you don't even have to look for it.
Okay.
It's
I'm gonna go
nah.
yeah.
get this. Yeah.
I thought I
So
was the
All
I
only one.
right.
share
I love
those
that.
products.
That's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna go try this out as well. What's your favorite European city that you've visited? And it could be like one where maybe you experienced romance or one where you had the most fun.
It's very difficult for me to choose one,
Mm-hmm.
the favorite one, right?
Yeah.
But I really love Dubrovnik.
Mm, okay.
Interesting.
I really,
Okay.
really love Dubrovnik.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes,
haven't I
yes.
haven't been this Croatia, right?
This
So
is
I
in
don't say rubbish,
Croatia.
yeah. I haven't been
Yes,
to Croatia yet, but yeah.
But
you
I
need
do
to go
see
to
it on
Dubrovnik.
TikTok
But
a
it's so
lot. It
beautiful.
looks
Like, it looks,
amazing.
yeah, it looks amazing on, like, social media.
It is even more beautiful in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm
Okay.
intrigued.
Yes,
I want
I
to
love
go
Dubrovnik.
too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Uh,
Yeah, right?
yeah.
Like,
Let's go.
nah, I'm
And
down.
the last one is, what's one habit that's keeping you grounded, or that has kept you grounded wherever you find yourself in the world? And I think for you, this is even an important question because you've, been in different places as well.
Prayer.
Love that.
Prayer.
Oh, yeah.
Prayer get
Love that.
prayer really brings me back down to earth, and
Yeah.
just taking time out to, it doesn't have to be a long time. Sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's 10 minutes. But I love praying, and I also love meditation, because for me, prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening to God. Because I find that a lot of times we are just talking and talking and talking to God, and sometimes God actually answers, but you don't hear because you're not taking the time to
To
listen.
listen.
So
Yeah.
I love meditation.
That's
I
so
love that.
beautiful.
Oh my God. We're going to
Yeah.
clip
That's
this. Prayer is a way of
indeed.
talking to God. Meditation. Ah, when I thought I couldn't love you more. Ah, man.
Indeed. Like this episode was just, it was everything I
Like,
thought and more.
really.
It
You
was
know, some of these
amazing.
things, you
Yeah.
just do them, but you don't think about it like this. I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, I love
Yeah.
this.
This is
Love.
amazing. Before you go though, where can people find you? Again, I know most people already know you, but where can people
Of
find
course.
you on social media? Maybe in some of your gigs that are open to the public. Yeah.
So on social media, you can find me. I'm currently very active on Instagram and on TikTok. Guys, I reached 100,000 followers yesterday on TikTok.
Oh my God. And I just deleted my TikTok. How did I not?
Hey!
We
That is
love
such a
it.
big deal.
Congratulations.
That was my next
Congrats.
But
goal.
that's
And I
actually
was
like
like,
such a big milestone, especially for
It,
TikTok. Because,
especially
yeah,
in Germany as a black creator.
yeah,
Listen.
exactly. It's not easy
Nah,
to get to those
congrats,
numbers, but
girl.
well done.
thank you so
I
much.
love that for you. Yeah.
Thank you so
Very
much. And I
soon we'll
actually
be
was
on
like, I
1M.
really need to celebrate this out, because I didn't want to, a lot of sometimes we don't really um, celebrate our milestones. And I just
Milestones.
like, I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, 100,000, because I received the notification and I was like, oh my
Oh,
God, 100,000. So I'm really proud of myself for that. I'm
yeah.
You
so
should
proud of
be.
myself for that. I'm so grateful, because we didn't get to talk about my my content creation journey, because we talked
Journey.
about so many
Yeah,
things.
we didn't get to go into that one, but that's how we're going to do another like multiple episodes with you.
Right? We
So don't
just
worry, we'll
need you
keep
Um,
coming
more.
back. Yeah,
Yeah, because but just very, very briefly,
yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this. I never intended to be a content creator.
You
It was
mentioned this at the live show.
Really?
I don't remember if it was in the
Yeah,
recording or in a conversation, but
yeah. I
you
think it's. I
mentioned
think she.
this.
Yeah.
You
It was
did.
literally just, I just started posting videos at random, literally just at random. I would actually, I think my first couple of videos, it was just me responding or stitching people. And then every time I would post, my video would go viral. And I was like, wait, what's happening? What's going
Yeah.
on? But I never intended to be a content creator.
Yeah.
But I've always been active on social media, because it's what keeps me connected to South Africa. That's why I love social media so much.
Mm.
So for me to reach 100,000 for
I'm
something that I
super
was
proud
not
of you.
even initially intentional about, I'm
Yeah.
so grateful, and also that it has opened other doors for me. Me sitting here with you right now is not
It's
because of my
because of social
music,
media.
but it's
Yeah, that's
because of
amazing.
my
Yeah.
social media. So I'm also so thankful that you've invited me to be here, and it's always so humbling for me, not even in a modest way, but it truly is humbling when people, when you guys say, oh, we love your TikToks, or because I meet people sometimes and they're like, oh, I know you from TikTok. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh my God, it's such a big thing for me. So I'm
Yeah.
so thankful for everybody who engages on my content, and I will continue to do it. But you can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, because I'm now focusing on also growing my Instagram.
Yeah.
And on my website for my music, nonhleberyl.com. And I'm always performing all over Germany. So, but you have to follow me on my Instagram, because that's where I post about. I also have Nonhle Beryl music,
Oh, yeah.
nonhleberyl.music. That's where I post about music as well.
Yeah.
And I am currently working. We talked about this also in the podcast, that I'm also currently working on my own podcast.
Yeah,
We can't
So,
wait for that.
exactly.
so
I
that's
hope you'll
my
have
that's
us
my
as
next
well. We'll
project.
be so happy to come on.
Of course,
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, that's where people can find me.
love
Okay,
it.
that's
But you know what makes
amazing.
Nonhle a good content creator? Because remember last time I was talking about my YouTube where I was ranting about content creators. It's organic. You're not trying to sell people stuff. You did not become a content creator to make it a job. It became a job because you were just doing it. And that's
Yeah,
exactly what
Yeah.
social media is. You don't want to constantly have someone selling you TikTok shop, selling you the yes, you can do that. But
Let me
like
tell you, the
there's
worst thing you can do to Rufaro is sell her TikTok shop.
listen, you
The
already
girl
know.
hates TikTok shop.
girl, the
And this
whole
is not
thing
to say
looks
I've
like
not bought from it. I've bought
Yeah.
stuff from it, but don't come on here with the wig that is sitting on the side, sitting funny like the aunties from back in the day, or like a Madea movie, telling me this is the best wig to ever exist. You're lying. I'm so sorry,
let me
but
tell you, like,
this
Yeah.
Rufaro, I
this
absolutely understand you because I don't knock anyone's hustle, okay? I don't knock
yeah,
anyone's hustle, and I think it's of course like the goal is always to also collaborate with brands and to make money
absolutely.
from it, right? But for me personally, I also have not I haven't really, marketed
Yeah.
anything from TikTok Shop because I don't want my page to be like QVC. But something that I did start, you can say it's almost selling it. It's experiences though, but that's really from a genuine place, right? Where I'm like, oh, these are my favorite things to do
Exactly.
in Hamburg, and but these are really genuinely my favorite things to do in Hamburg. And
Yeah.
I also hope I will never get to a point where I am selling people something that I don't
You don't
even.
like, yeah.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Thank
the
you
day
so much.
Nonhle comes online and says this skin food is where it's at, I'm gonna believe it because
Yeah.
you've been telling me the truth this whole time. So why would you lie to me about this skin food? But now a
Yeah.
person who's been telling me literally, you're telling me your TikTok with 1,000 videos, you love 1,000 things from TikTok, you love all 1,000 things. I'm so sorry.
You can see how like she's so like
He's so
TikTok
strict.
shop is
Rufaro is strict. Rufaro is
Nah,
like,
I
don't
run a
play
strict
with
shop.
me.
Don't play with me. It's okay to
oh my
also say
gosh.
this product is shit. Like it's okay to say the truth
Yeah.
when it's shit is shit. Like
Yeah.
so this is why this is the when you if you listen to my YouTube video, the kind of content creators I was talking about that I enjoy. Nonhle is an example. This
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy and I love because you're not lying to me. You're not trying to force me to buy something. If and when you
No.
tell me to buy something, I know it's good. You've
Yeah.
actually built that reputation. Like I will know it's good. If it turns out to not be good for me, I will still accept that it's good for you. You actually did enjoy the product. It's a shame that I didn't, but I will still
Yeah.
not fault you. I will just fault the fact that not everyone works for everyone. Not everything works for everyone. But I know you're not lying to me just to make a little commission. So, guys, see, I think people at this
Rufaro,
point, you
people
just
need
know
to
how
make
much I love
money.
Nonhle. No, I'm not
No.
saying don't
But the
make
thing is that
money,
that's the,
but
I
do
mean,
it also.
I'm on
I know what
Rufaro's
you
side
mean.
on
I
this
know what
one.
you
I am
mean.
on Rufaro's side on this one. Is that even if you listen, even if you want to, that's still your name on that thing. Like I don't want to put
Yeah.
my name on something, and but that's also why even when I'm making my content about Germany, for example, I'm not there telling people like Germany is a paradise and it's a perfect place. I will tell
Yeah.
you the good things about Germany. I'm also going to tell you the bad things about Germany,
Balance,
Yeah.
and it's the
baby.
same thing. Also, if I am selling you, if ever I'm going to sell you a product, I'm not going to say you should use I'm not gonna say to you I use skin food, Veleda skin food, and I've never used it because I've also had
Yeah.
brands who've approached me and they would say, hey, we'd like to collaborate with you on this particular thing. And I'm like, send it to me first.
I
Send it
test
to me
it.
because I need to use it first and I need
Yeah.
to know that I like this thing. And I'm also the type of person I can be objective and say, this thing is actually good. I just don't like it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I can go to a restaurant and be like, I went to this particular restaurant. I just didn't like it. I had the burger. The burger was actually good, but I just did not like it because of
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know, because I prefer, I don't know, tomatoes over onion or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I understand, Rafari. Like
This is what I'm saying.
if you lying, I don't trust you ever again.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I'm just going to swipe up anytime you try to sell me anything. So
Yeah, but thank you so much, Nonhle, for doing this with us. Like, this was so much
Yeah.
fun. This
I
was
know,
honestly so much fun.
For me
It's
too.
definitely high up there in one of my favorite episodes that we've
Mine
done, and
too.
I'm not just saying that. Like, honestly, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming. One thing we know now is we have other episodes that we have to do with
Yes.
you for sure. The relationship one is going to be like, that one is important.
We have to do it
And
in
then the
Hamburg
one,
at PY
yeah, we have to do one
Studio.
in Hamburg, exactly, and we have to do
Yeah.
that in person. Relationships, Southern men versus Western, Southern African men versus Western African men. We have to do that as well. This is going to be, so you guys soon come, right? There's going to be more episodes with Nonhle. But thank you so much for being so graceful and doing this with us. Like, I really
Yeah.
appreciate. Like, I always say, like, reaching out to someone like you, because I'm like such a nobody. I'm always like,
Right?
You're
oh,
not.
maybe they
Oh
won't
my goodness,
respond,
no.
but
But when she
But yeah,
did, we were gagged.
yeah,
We
when
were
you
both
responded, like,
gagged.
I think it made you even that much cooler to us,
Yeah.
like, agreeing to come on, and it's been fun both times, and now I can't wait to even have
Me too.
more. But thank you so much for coming, and for you guys listening, you know what to do: like, share, subscribe, follow, do all of the things we tell you every time. But yeah,
And
we're
I'm
looking forward to
recruiting you
it.
in the We Love Nonhle cult. Like,
Indeed.
I love you guys. I
And
love both of you.
yeah. Oh, thank you. We love you too, for
Thank
sure.
you,
We love
girl.
you.
We
And
really do.
you guys listening, do all the things. We'll catch you guys in the next one. And till then, be good. And
bye.
pretty much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.